So you just launched a new pop-up for your e-commerce store and you drive an extra 2, 4, maybe even 6% out of it. I'm here to tell you that that might not actually be a good thing for you and your brand. And there's a few reasons why. First off, something that no one really understands is that your pop-up actually has a very big influence on the perception people have of your brand, okay? And what does perception really impact the most? Perception impacts the lifetime value of each of the customers that you acquire. If someone sees your brand as an impulse, as a one-off, as a gimmick, that obviously has a low baked in LTV. But if someone sees your product as a solution, okay, and this is where I'm getting with this, that obviously has a baked in LTV. This is long-term value. This is consistent purchasing of you and your brand because you are solving a problem for them long term as opposed to just being an impulse purchase, okay? So you might be thinking, I don't have a brand that is very solution based. I'm gonna break that for you. I'm gonna tell you straight away that that is just not the case. Even brands like clothing solves problems, okay? And what problems does clothing solve? Well, let's get into it. Firstly, they solve identity. They solve confidence, okay? They obviously solve comfort. They also solve community. You get the idea. They don't just, they're not just one-time purchases that you're trying to drive. You're trying to build something bigger. And you can do that through your pop-up in your onboarding strategy. So what I see all the time at the moment, and basically the idea came from this video, is because you're seeing people run these gimmickly little Plinko pop-ups. And yeah, you might get a better opt-in rate, or you're running the mystery wheel gimmick. These might have a short-term better opt-in rate. I think these are obviously going to drop anyway because people are understanding that these are gimmicks and that it always just lands on the 10% off anyway. You have a short-term lift in opt-in rate, but these are just games, okay? People are excited to see them and play with them because they've never seen them before and they're somewhat novel. Once that wears off, the reality is that everyone coming into your brand, so say you get a 10% and you move to a 14 or a 12%. Yes, you get 4 extra percent, but the 10 that you're getting before now are perceiving your brand in this way, where I would rather have only 10%, but they perceive my brand in a way that is solution-based and that is long-term and valuable. So what I want you to do is to change your opt-in strategy and change your onboarding strategy to follow this. What you need to do is create a quiz-based pop-up, okay? This is gonna ask a question, and the key thing here is that these are gonna be problems. Tell us, what are you struggling with? And obviously, we're gonna have a discount here. Second page is gonna be, okay, thanks for doing that. To claim your discount or to unlock your discount, you just need to give me your email and then obviously you do SMS, blah, blah, blah. But this is the real value here. And these are gonna be the 4 biggest problems that your company solves, okay? And so for a brand like a supplement, it might be recovery, right? It's going to be performance. It's going to be immunity. And the key thing here is that now we are telling them to self-diagnose their problems for us. This usually is the hardest part. Their level of intent now has increased. Their level of awareness of what you do and the problems that you solve are increasing. It's very easy to sell to a person with a high level of awareness for your product and the solutions than a lower level. And so what you're doing here is subconsciously increasing their awareness and the relationship between you and their problems. The second part of this and the real personalization comes in the next stage. So the welcome flow here is going to be split into 4 or 5 or whatever, how many answers you have. That's how many differences you need to have here. And so the key thing here is that each of these welcome flows is going to speak to the problem and place a product that solves the problem that they already self-identified with. So for example, in A, it was recovery and cramps. So here we might push magnesium if we're a supplement company. Here was performance, so maybe we push creatine. Here was illness, so maybe we push an immunity powder, okay? Why this is so important is if we just went with a silly little Plinko for this company and then drove them down and just said, our hero product is our magnesium and just pushed everyone towards magnesium, then the people here wouldn't be spoken to in the same way. They wouldn't have that same level of connection between you and your brand because your positioning is not the same. As we go down, we're using language that is specific to the problems that they're facing. I know that this works because we implemented it for a supplement company just like this, and we were able to double their subscription uptake rate in literally 30 days. And we didn't change anything else to the site. All we did was implement this onboarding strategy for every person coming to their site and every person opting into their emails. Okay, we drove a 12% opt-in, we had this quiz, and then we were able to double their subscription uptake rate and drive, we drove $100,000 in 7 days using this strategy here. And it doesn't just work for big brands, we use it for small clothing brands as well. You can see here, here, and here that this onboarding strategy is the key. The main thing to understand here is that your pop-up drives a change in the perception, okay? It's not just opt-in rates. And your perception, or the perception people have of your brand, is very, very important in driving LTV. When you onboard someone with a gimmick, they are not putting you as a solution. They're putting you as a fun one-time purchase. When you opt in someone with a solution, getting them to identify a problem that they have, and then placing our product at the forefront of their lives and solving that problem for them, this is going to drive subscription uptake rates, it's going to drive repurchase rates. People are coming to you and creating a relationship with you and your brand that is not one-off and not fun. It's real, it's baked into their day-to-day lives. This is going to be the key. If you think that running an opt-in with a pop-up that is gimmicky, like these two here, the Plinko and the mystery wheel, I think, yeah, enjoy your 2% extra opt-in rates, but you're going to have a long time struggling rebuilding the brand perception and the lifetime value of each of your customers moving forward.